here's one thing that we have to keep in mind. You cannot automate a relationship.
Because the management and transparency is what's very important. So once you submit a referral, you're going to have your own Home Advantage account, and it's going to tell you where everything sits. So if you have 10 referrals that you've sent into the network, it's going to give you all 10 referrals. It's going to tell you every milestone that that client is sitting in, whether they're touring homes, whether they're in escrow. And you now can manage through the Home Advantage application as far as what your pipeline looks like for the referrals that you've sent. And so it's pretty sophisticated, and it's all click of a button, guys.
One of the top-notch people at RedX, I'm assuming.
I
get emails from you regularly.
You probably do. You probably get emails with my name on them all the time. And
yeah, all the time.
I didn't write a single one of them.
And that's what's interesting. You know, I always wanted to put face to that signature, and
yeah.
Here we are. And now I know.
Here we are. Yeah.
Well, as people are joining us on RedX, as people are joining us on Facebook Live on LCA, thank you everyone for joining us. I am so excited about this today because I am a RedX user and I love RedX. But welcome to our really good friend, Tyler, who is, you know, obviously the vice president, I believe, of marketing and sales there.
Yep.
I've seen your name, like I said earlier, in all emails, but now I know the face. And so I'm here to learn social GeoLeads. Like you know, my ISA is Dial and they call GeoLeads, but it's going to be interesting to learn from you, RedX Ad Builder, social media, and how that correlates to RedX leads, right? So
yeah,
everyone tell us city and state you're from, please, in the chat box. We'd appreciate it. And then Tyler, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely, Janki. Thank you. I'm really happy to be with you guys today. And I was telling you before the webinar started, we're doing this webinar because I was doing a different demo with Tristan a few weeks ago, and he totally hijacked the demo because he kept having questions about this, and he was like, "We need to do a webinar just about this," and I went, "Great, let's put it together." Yeah. And so that's why we're on here. And
when I found out that this is a thing, and I'm like, it's me. I'm going to host. Yes. If I want to know more and learn.
Yes.
I've been RedX user for so long.
Well, so here's the thing. The thing that people often associate with RedX is prospecting on the phone, right? I mean, when people hear the name RedX, that's what they associate. And truth is, I mean, that's the reputation that we've created for ourselves over the last 20 years. We're almost 20 years in business, wow. 20 years in September. And so we've been around the block and been around a long time, and we've built that reputation. But one of the things I think that I like most about working at RedX is I think that we genuinely care about the success of our clients. And that means that we're always looking ahead to the future to try to figure out how can we better help them. And so a few years ago, we said, look, we need to start thinking about providing solutions beyond just picking up the phone. Right. And thank goodness that was kind of what we started thinking, because you look at what's happened with spam calls and connection rates over the last couple of years, and the spam calls have increased and the connection rates have decreased. So I'm glad that we were on the right track, and that's how this tool that I'm going to show you guys kind of came out. But ultimately, it comes down to a couple of guiding principles for how you do business as a real estate professional really well. And it's really three things. It's about your audience, it's about gathering their attention, and then it's about making a connection with those three people. And if you were to sit down and really drill down into any really successful listing agent and the strategies that they employ, it's going to consist of those three things: is getting in front of the right audience, garnering their attention, and then making a connection with that person. And what oftentimes, Janki, it's really funny when I sit down with people and I go, well, who's your target audience? You know, I'll ask a group of agents, who's your target audience? And so often the response is, well, everyone in my marketplace. No. And I go, sure, like in a perfect world, if I could be in front of everybody, sure. But that's not the reality, right? The truth is only 3 to 4% of my marketplace is going to transact in the next 12 months, which means that's really who I want to be in front of. I want to be in front of the 3 to 4% of people that are most likely to transact, because that's where my marketing dollars and my time and effort and energy are going to pay off. If I go focus on the other 96%, I might build an amazing database that will transact over time. But we want transactions now and later. We want, right? Like, what's the point in having cake if you can't eat it too? We want both. So,
Well,
right?
I say it right here, 97% versus 3%, focus on the 3%.
Yes, focus on the 3, right? Okay.
There you go.
We couldn't have planned that more perfectly, right? With that right behind you, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is you want to be in front of the right people, and RedX for many years, that's what we've tried to do, is put you in front of people that are likely to transact, the expireds, the for sale by owners, the pre-foreclosures. Those people are obviously very close to a transaction. And then you've got like the for rent by owners that are slightly further from a transaction, but the for rent by owners are such an amazing opportunity, because we sell those as a listing lead. They're people that are self-managed property owners that have a vacancy or an upcoming vacancy and in a rental property. And we typically sell that as a listing lead. It's great for property management. It's great for if you work rentals and leases, that's great. But we sell it as a listing lead, and they have a need in the real estate industry. It's just a matter of engaging them in a conversation. And it usually goes like this, Janki. It's usually, look, hey, you've got a vacancy, you're trying to put people in there. What if I do a free MCA for you, and we see if maybe you can take the equity and divest that into a couple of properties?
It's
right?
What you say, exactly. It's what you say, what is the message you're sending out? And I always say this, Tyler, it's a relationship business we're in. I say that to all my ISAs. I say that to my, everyone that comes my way, my coaching students, everyone, that you're really into a relationship business. If you don't build that connection and that relationship, that lead is not going to return back to you. Same goes for RedX. And so that's why I'm so excited. How do you connect social to this?
Yes.
Right? That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah. And so that's what's so cool, right? Is it starts with the audience, and it's so perfect that you've got that poster right behind you, right? Focus on the 3%. But then the next step, this is really where what we're going to talk about, it comes into play, is garnering their attention, right? The old statistics and the old data that you needed to have seven impressions upon somebody before you could engage in a conversation. The new data, Janki, is showing that it's more like 30 to 50 times that you have to be in front of somebody. And if you think about short form video content with things like Facebook Reels and Instagram Stories and TikTok, we're training ourselves to have a shorter attention span and to have more interaction with more entities, more other parties, right? I mean, you can spend 30 minutes on Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts and interact with several dozen or over 100 different entities as they're trying to garner your attention. And that's really the key. So we have to make sure that we're getting in front of that audience, the 3% of the people, the right way. And that's where this tool that I'm going to show you comes into play. So let me share my screen here real quick. If Jake, if you could give me screen sharing abilities. Actually,
Jake to give you screen share. There you go.
There, he did that for me. Thank
you,
Jake.
I know, Don, you're looking forward to this. So are we. So let's dive right into it.
So let's jump in here. So anybody who's familiar with RedX, Janki, for example, I know that you're a RedX user. This is going to be familiar. You're like, hey, I understand Vortex. This is the platform that we have that allows you to gain access to all the RedX leads, and then the tools that we provide for you to be able to work those. But up here, we have this new tool that we released last year, sometime about last year, and it's called Ad Builder. And what Ad Builder does, it's tied right into Vortex, and it allows you now to target the specific people that you want on social media from right within the Vortex platform. So here's why that's important. Anybody can go into Facebook and Instagram and in the Meta Ads Manager, and they can create ads and they can do that. The challenge is unless you're very familiar with that, there's a pretty steep learning curve. And the reason why is because it was designed for companies that have like, let's think about Nike, right? Nike has an ad spend budget on social media of $25 million per month, which means they have multiple campaigns, hundreds of ads going at any given time, And you look at Meta and they go, we could make money from companies like Nike who are spending $25 million a month, or we could make money from real estate agents who are spending $30 a month on ads. Which one is more appealing from a business perspective for them? Obviously the big money. And so they build the ads manager, they build the business manager for big companies like that. So it's overly complicated for most real estate professionals. Most of them don't have the time or energy to get in and overcome that learning curve. And that means that they don't ever do anything, right? I mean, sometimes when we come across some kind of roadblock, sometimes we just go a different direction.
You just
give up, right? I mean,
pivot,
too much friction means that we don't progress.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we've done is we've built a tool right here in the Vortex that not only makes it simple for you to create the ad and manage the ad, but it also allows you to target the right people, because that's the other challenge that social media is giving us, is it makes it harder for us to get in front of the 3%. Right. So if you go to Facebook and say, hey, I'm a realtor and I want to post an ad. Well, there's certain disclosures that you have to make. This is a housing ad. Well, now, once you do that as a real estate agent and say, hey, I'm doing a housing related ad. Well, now there's certain limitations that Facebook has on who you can market to, because they have to remain compliant with Fair Housing Act and all kinds of other things related to that. Right. So, they're making it more and more and more difficult for you to get in front of the 3%. So let me give you a small example here, Janki. If I want to target someone geographically in Meta Business Manager, so Facebook and Instagram, in order to do that geographically, the smallest area that I can focus on is a 30-mile circle. Right, that's my whole county. Where I'm at in Utah, that's almost 1 million people. And if I'm going to spend money to be in front of 1 million people, but really I want to only be in front of the 3%, it means that 97% of my ad spend is going to people that don't matter.
Don't matter, right?
Right. Well, when you bring your own list to Facebook and say, hey, here's 5,000 people that I want to target. Well, now they allow you to get a little bit more specific. So what we're looking at right here is
before you jump into this, I have a question.
Yes, please.
In your dashboard, if you are a RedX user already, on your dashboard, will you already have the ad builder?
So if only if you add the ad builder as a subscription, there is a fee for the tool.
Okay.
And once I show, you'll understand what that fee is paying for, because again, you could do that all for free inside of the Meta Ads Manager, right? I mean, we didn't do anything, we didn't create anything that you can't already do. But the time, the learning curve, the management, I mean, that's what you pay us for here. And
the beauty of it is that it's only, and the beauty of it is it's only going to the specific list.
Right.
To go, so it's targeted, and that is the beauty of this. Okay, cool.
Right. So let me show you how cool this is, Janki, because I'm going to blow your mind. I can come in here and create an ad. And then I can play to the algorithms that Meta has, right? So Meta obviously knows. They know when Tyler's going to be online, and they know when I'm most likely to click on things online, right? So if I want reach and awareness, so let's just, as an example, let's say we're targeting GeoLeads, because that's what we're talking about here on this webinar, and I have an open house that I'm doing in a neighborhood. Well, I could go, we'll call it the Smiths open house, right? If I'm doing an open house for my client, the Smiths, and I want to pack that open house with people, well, I can pick up the phone and I could call people. I could go knock doors and I can invite people. I can go put balloons at the end of the street and do all the things that we normally do. But now I could actually target people on social media and invite them to this open house, which is really cool. So I could say, hey, what's the goal of running the ad? Well, I want reach and awareness. I want as many people as possible to see that I'm hosting an open house for my clients, the Smiths. So I select that there. And now what Meta does is they go, hey, we know when people are most likely to be online, that's when we're going to show people that ad. Versus clicking traffic, it's going to play a little differently, because if I'm trying to drive traffic to an external website, for example, maybe I'm a lead form or a landing page or something that I want to drive people to. Well, Facebook shows it and displays it differently for people at different times, because they know when they're most likely to click. In this particular example, reach and awareness, I go next. And now it's saying, oh, great. Who do you want this to target? Okay, so I could come in and say, well, I want this to target my GeoLeads. I've got 16,000 GeoLeads in this Vortex account right here. If I hit next, now what RedX is going to do is we're going to upload those 16,000 people to Facebook, and we're going to match to their profiles on Facebook and Instagram and maintain that as a custom audience. Okay, so here's one really cool thing. So let me just change up the example here. Let's say I want to target expireds, Janki.
Okay.
Let's say I want to target expired listings. So I create an ad targeting expired listings, and I use this tool to say, hey, only show this to expired listings. Well, one of the things that RedX does is when new expireds happen, we will upload those to the custom audience. And when expireds relist, we will pull those out of the custom audience, which means we're maintaining that custom audience for you on Facebook and Instagram. So if and when that needs to be updated, you're only spending your marketing dollars on that 3%, right? On the people that matter. You can get really specific to make sure that you're getting in front of those people. But once I'm here, now I can create an ad. So let me just grab a picture of a house and I create my ad and I go, hey, check out what's inside this house. And I'm going to try to drive people to my open house. So you can see the ad preview here. I can select whether I want to run it on Facebook or Instagram or both. If I want to drive them to a link, I could do that. I could go, hey, let's drive them to redx.com. And, you know, you'll never believe what this homeowner.
Okay, so two things, Tyler. One, where can people sign up for this? Let's talk about that because this is so awesome. The fact that it's only focusing on what you want it to focus on, and it's not going to mass. I mean, you don't have to create a special list. You don't have to create a special audience. It's all built in. So that's what I'm hyped up about. And the fact that you don't have to do open house. If you don't have a listing, it is okay.
Amen.
Also focus this over to expired. So show us after this, show us how do you work the expired side of the angle as well.
Yes, yes.
That's a possible business as well.
Absolutely. And it's as simple as coming in here and just selecting the different lists, right? So you can have different ads that are going to different lists. And within this tool, you'll set the dates, the timelines, the budgets, all of that's done right here. So you could say, hey, I have an ad that I just want it to live forever until I turn it off. Yeah. And I want it to target expired. So I could say, hey, it's going to target my expired listings.
And now in expired listings, you can actually the list will be updated as the property goes on the market with another agent. So you don't always have to go in and
correct.
All right.
Yeah. So so it allows you to just kind of set it and forget it a little bit, which is really great. And it's so simple because it's all done right here. And it's so, I mean, anybody who's created ads in Facebook is watching this going, oh my goodness, this is so much simpler. Because then I come in and I go, hey, I want to start this immediately and I want to run it till I turn it off. And I want to spend $2 a day as my budget.
What is an average you would recommend? $2 a day?
So $2 a day is a pretty good average. It depends on the size of the audience that you're targeting. But typically for most real estate agents, I usually tell them to set aside $60 a month as ad spend. And if you're doing that and targeting the right people, then the money that you're spending is being spent wisely rather than saying, well, $2 a day, but only 3% of the people really matter, right? Now we're saying, look, $2 a day, but that $2 a day is going right toward the correct people that you want them to go to. So I come in here, I do my disclosures, and then it gives me a final summary of what it's going to look like here, and then I can hit submit. So it's so easy for me to create the ad and then target the right people. So that's the key here is we want to utilize social media to supplement connection, right? So again, I mentioned at the beginning of this, there's three things. There's audience, we talked about that. There's garnering their attention, and social media is such an amazing tool to be able to do that because that's where people are spending their time. They're spending their time there for business. They're spending their time there as they shop. I mean, did you know that there were more unique searches on social media platforms in 2022 than there were searches on Google?
You know, I mean, honestly, it's become such, everyone goes on social for everything. I mean,
We
Instagram,
shop on
and
social, we connect on social, we're entertained on social, we find
restaurants
motivation
are
on social.
good.
Yes, everything. And
Yeah.
so if we're not, if you as a real estate professional are not trying to garner attention from your clients and your database on social media, guess what? Somebody else in your marketplace is. And you and I both, I mean, we're both in the Lab Coats group. We see a lot of times where somebody goes, oh man, my friend listed with somebody else.
Exactly.
And I go, well, if you're not maintaining top of mind, even with your friends and family, then how can you expect to be the real estate professional that they want to use when the time comes?
Exactly. And so, as I said, it's a relationship business we're in.
Yes.
Building and nurturing relationships, whether it's making new connections through RedX, making new connections through farming or geo-farming, or calling GeoLeads or expireds, or even doing it on social, whichever way you do it, just do it. I think that is so important to focus on, do it and be consistent at it. Something as simple as the expired leads you just showed. I'm very interested in that because I think you set it and forget it, like you said. You don't have to do anything else.
Well, so, and here's what's so great about targeting something like the expired listings is picking up the phone and calling, excuse me, picking up the phone and calling people is still an amazing way to get business.
Right.
It just is. And I know there's people out there that will go, well, I'll never pick up the phone because I don't like to be yelled at or it's not as productive, but it is still an amazing way to get business. But imagine having somebody on social media, imagine their home expiring, and you create an ad that says, here's the top 3 reasons why homes are expiring in Utah right now, or why homes are not selling. Well, now all of a sudden that person who's an expired listing is scrolling through their social media. They're going to see that and go, wow, that's really specific to my situation that I'm in right now, which means they're going to stop and give attention to that ad. And then you provide value. Well, here's the 3 things. And then imagine calling that person a couple of weeks later and being like, hey, this is Tyler with Tyler Fenn Real Estate and your home and all of a sudden they're like, oh man, I've seen your videos.
Right.
Like, don't we love when people know who we are?
Yeah.
Yes.
And here's another thing, Tyler, not only familiarity, you're building, and they'll see that you're actually being consistent. I always say, if you don't like to make calls, find somebody that can. Hire an ISA.
Hire an ISA.
Find someone that will make those calls for you. If not you, then who is always a question. Fill that position in and focus on social, like you just said, the connection between GeoLeads, expireds, FSBOs, whatever list you pick, focus on that. And $2 a day. Oh, wow.
I know.
That's about what we're spending here now.
So here's the most important thing I think to remember, and you've mentioned this a couple of times. This is a relationship industry,
right?
And here's one thing that we have to keep in mind: you cannot automate a relationship. You can't. And the truth is, right now, everything that I see about technology is automate. And I'm with you. I mean, we're using ChatGPT, we're using all of these neat tools to make our lives simpler, but the goal should be in that all of those things should allow us to have more time to connect with people. Exactly. Right? We should be able to pick up the phone. We should be able to talk face to face because that's where relationships grow. You cannot automate the growth of a relationship. So automate the attention by doing something like this. Automate the audience by using something like RedX. Even automate some of the connection with an ISA, but even your ISA should be driving to listing appointments.
Exactly.
Right. The goal of that should be getting you in front of those people so that you can focus on the relationship, because that's where the magic happens. That's where listings come from. That's where repeat listings come from. And that's where we grow.
Yeah,
right. So
yeah, I totally agree with you, Tyler. Referral business comes from there as well, right?
Yes.
I mean, who knows who's going to tell who about you and how you do business and who you are, right?
Agreed.
That's why I say, as you just mentioned, everything can be automated, but you can never automate human to human touch, right? A human to human conversation, or someone having problems with selling their home, and you come in and you're actually going to go there physically. You're not going to send a message on ChatGPT saying, make it automated or whatever it is, right? We are in the people business. We got to keep it people relations, right?
Yep. I'm with you. And what's so cool, so Ad Builder, the tool that I just showed to you, and we just barely scratched the surface of what it's capable of doing, but Ad Builder is only $50 a month. Your ad spend is on top of that. But it's simple for anybody to add it to their RedX account, or even if they want to just use Ad Builder, they can do that. And they could import in their database, their past client list. They could stay top of mind with their past client list. Whatever list of people you have, we can help you target those people on social media for $50 a month. And so I look at that and I go, most people are not doing anything productive on social media. This is a great place to start. And right now, Janki, this week of May 30th through June 2nd, RedX has our summer Jumpstart going right now. So what it is any product you buy, any of our leads or tools you buy, if you buy 2 months, you get a third month free. So 90 days of service for the cost of 60, and it gives you the opportunity to jump in and kick off summer. We also have a whole bunch of trainings included with that throughout the summer that are exclusive to people that buy this week. So guys and gals, if you're looking at and you're like, hey, let me give social media a try, let me see, this is a great way to do it. Call my team here at RedX or jump on the website and you'll be able to add things to your account. You'll be able to communicate with people here and get the information that you need, because as I said, social media is such an amazing tool, but right now, the amount of people that are trying to get our attention, likewise, the amount of people trying to get the attention of the people that you'd like to do business with is at an all-time high, which means we have to be smart about how we do it. We want to make sure that our marketing dollars are spent wisely. This is such a great place to do that, and to do it without a tremendous investment. I mean, $50 a month to have access to this tool where we maintain the custom audience. We allow you to build and create the tool and target the people that you want to target. I mean, it's the easiest $50 you guys will ever spend on your business.
And
is using Ad Builder.
Yeah, and let me just throw a shout out to RedX, because I have had success. We did a lot of geo farming. We did a lot of calls in a particular neighborhood. At that time, you didn't have this new tool, but from one listing, we actually got 4 listings out of that particular neighborhood. Right?
Love it.
For me, it was such an awesome tool to use, just dialing, because again, I do have ISAs, and just using it to dial and make calls and build that relationship through dialing. But now add on another feature to it, which is Ad Builder. I want to see where this goes. So I'd love to do this webinar again, because then I can share my success with Ad Builder and GeoLeads.
Awesome.
What did we see there? What was the results in a few months? I think that's going to be awesome. So
awesome.
30 minutes is not enough time for us to really continue talking, because RedX has so many different other tools to offer.
We do.
And where can anyone go to get started, Tyler? Can you put it in the chat box, please?
Yep, absolutely. So I know that Jake put a link in there earlier, but let me put, I mentioned calling my team.
Yes, please.
I just put our corporate phone number in there. If you call that and speak to anybody in sales or success, if you're a current client, you can chat inside of the Vortex platform. You can chat with our agents as well. But the most important thing, guys and gals, is simply to get started. And that's what you said a few minutes ago, Janki. You said you just have to get started doing something. Don't let a learning curve, don't let a lack of a skill set stop you from being productive, because the truth is real estate transactions happen every day in every kind of market. I mean, even through the worst markets we've been in, transactions happen every single day, and we can leverage that. We just have to make sure that we're.
And it's how much do you want it, right? How much?
Right.
And
right.
Where do you see your business growth happening, and when do you want to get to where you want to get to? I think it's all goal related too, you know.
I agree.
And being consistent and persistent in your different ways of calling, or, you know, putting your name out there on social. It's so important to do that. But I'm looking forward to getting this done. Thank you so much, Tyler. I get all your emails all the time. Now I know.
Awesome. Love it.
I'll be in touch. All right. Thank you so much, Tyler.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Jay.